Without no further ado, I want to jump straight into today's topic. So I would be giving you my reasons why I will be purchasing the EOS R5 compared to the Fuji Xt4. So a brief history about my camera journey. I basically started with Canon. I had the T Rebels, I think it was C3i or something like that. I don't really remember. But then I went to the Canon 60D. That camera was a workhorse for me. It did a lot of stuff. And then I went to the 80D. The reason why I left Canon was because at that point where at the 80D, I think 2017 thereabout, the fact that it had no 4K, and right now 4K is a thing, and I shoot in 4K. I never shoot in 1080p anymore. I never shoot in 1080p even if it is 1 million frames per second. I do not care about that. I never shoot in that because I'm just used to the 4K workflow, and I don't know, I just wanted something that had 4K, so I went to the Panasonic Gt5. The camera is really good. It served its purpose, but the autofocus was really crappy, so I had to always manual focus. Yeah, now I do that, isn't a problem. I still do that, but I would like to have the autofocus as well too, you know. And one of my main reasons why I left the Gt5 also was the fact that the low light was really bad. You needed extreme fast lenses, which are quite pricey, of course. So I had to leave that system. Also to the green tints you always had in there. I don't know if it's just me, but there was always this green kind of tone or shade I don't actually get in my Panasonic Gt5 footages, which I really didn't like. So I went for the next thing. I went for Xt3. So honestly, I really didn't know anything about Fujifilm. I was looking for what could be the closest into the Panasonic Gt5. Of course, most people will bring up the Sony A7 R3 or I'm sorry, I'm really good with Sony cameras, but you know what I'm talking about, you know. But I didn't want that because the colors of Sony, I just didn't like how it felt. I don't know, but I kind of strongly believe that, you know, once you see a video that was shot with a Sony camera, you can just tell, you just know that it's a Sony. Maybe a lot of people who use Sony kind of color grade in one scene in a particular way, that's why you can tell, but I just didn't like it. And the fact that you couldn't shoot 10 bits with it as well too, I just didn't like it, you know. So I came across the Fuji Xt3. I was so hyped about it. The Fuji Xt3 is an amazing camera. Honestly, I think like if you haven't tried it and you starting out, you're looking for a camera to get for the amount you pay and for the features you get for the Fuji Xt3, it's amazing. Of course, it has its drawbacks and everything, which I'm pretty sure you can watch in a lot of other videos. But the colors from Xt3 is good. The autofocus is somewhat in between Panasonic and Canon. It's kind of in between, but by far better than Panasonic Gt5 especially, and of course not close to the Sony Canon as well too. So this camera is quite good for me. I like it. I'm still using it. I don't plan to sell it, but I want to get a second camera because I plan to make documentaries, and I want this kind of multiple cameras, you know. I just want it because one, it saves me a lot of time, and secondly, it makes your work look more professional, you know, and just having multiple angles is really good. My initial plan was to get the Xt4. We all know the price, about 1,700 euros here in Belgium, but there isn't a ship date yet, so we do not know when it will be out. And just last week, EOS R5 was announced, and it's mind-blowing. But here is the thing, I intend to get the EOS R5 over the Xt4 just for one reason. Okay, no, two reasons. The first one is the fact that I can have a system that has a reliable autofocus. Second is the fact that if everything goes as announced, if indeed it has the 8K 8K 30 frames, 4K 120 frames, 10-bit internal RAW, 422, dual card slots, it's gonna be crazy, you know. The only reason why I'm choosing this over the Xt4 is because, one, again, the autofocus is really good. I trust Canon dual autofocus system in general. It's really good, so I can imagine on the EOS R5 it will be amazing. Secondly, the fact that it shoots 8K, which, with all honesty, I do not need it right now. I don't think I will ever shoot in 8K right now, especially when I'm shooting dual multiple cameras. You know, I don't need to crop in. I could just probably set my X4 to my desired focal length and use the EOS R5 at a different focal length, so I don't need to punch in or crop in and lose resolutions and all that, you know. So I will never shoot in 8K. Also because it's not really needed, it isn't necessary. But it's good to have it, because I mean, technologies move so fast, and people we get already there are 8K TVs. I'm not sure, but I think there are 8K TVs already, and it's just I don't want to think about changing or upgrading my camera in the next, say, 3, 4, or 5 years. So I feel like if this EOS R5 is as good as it's been marketed already, I feel like it's a really good camera to invest in. And it's obviously maybe times 3 or 2.5 the price of the Xt4. Well, assuming that the price range will be around 3,500 to 4,000 euros maximum. That is a maximum amount I'll spend for a camera with that kind of form factor. You know, so one is autofocus, 2 is the fact that it's future proof. That is the only reason I'm getting over the Xt4. If the Xt4 comes out with a really superb autofocus, I won't get the EOS R5, you know. Another thing also with the EOS R5 is the fact that it shoots 4K 120 frames. I mean, it's good to have that, even though 60 frames for me is more than enough for my slow motion stuff. I don't do really super slow-mo. But since I'm currently going into product videography, I think it's nice to have the 120 frames. You know, for me, I feel like it's always good to have and not use than want to use but not have, you know. So even though I might not need it 80% of my shoots, except for some product videography, excuse me, you know, it's nice to have it. So what do I think this camera is for EOS R5? I think like if you already have a system you're used to and you had no prior intention of getting a second camera, I don't think you need to get it. Reason being that it's not really necessary to get it. Do you really need 8K? You need animal light autofocus? Do you just want to jump on the train? You know, for me, like I feel like if you already have a system, let's say you use the Sony A7 for instance, or you use whatever system you use, in fact, you know, and you're comfortable with it and it does the job, you know, I don't see any reason why you should switch and get the latest camera. You know, my advice to everyone, including myself, is never jump on the newest thing, because there will always be a new thing. You know, filmmaking isn't cheap, you know, so if you have the money to invest into the Canon EOS R5 system, by all means, please just go for it, because one, in as much as we do not like to jump on the newest thing, there is this feeling kind of gives you when you know you have the newest when you have the latest kind of technology in your system, you know. But mind you, running the EOS R5 will be super expensive. Getting the body alone is almost 4,000 euros. For me, that is the max I'm willing to pay for it. And then you need adapters from the RF to the EF or whatever lenses you have. There you need to get like very good lenses as well too, because having a good body with shitty lens is equals to shitty output. You know, you also need to invest in CFast cards. CFast cards are really expensive. 1 terabyte of very good CFast Express card is about 800 euros, and that gives you roughly about 1 hour 23 minutes when shooting 24 or 25 frames per second. And so you're shooting 60 frames per second, so 1 terabyte gives you almost about 50 minutes or something like that. My advice to you is, if you want to use the EOS R5, you have to invest in an external recorder, and of course, we should be either one of the Ninja 5 or Inferno, Shogun, or Ninja Flame, whatever you want to invest in. And then you need SSDs, which of course way cheaper than CFast cards. But then with the EOS R5, you lose the ability to shoot 4K 120 frames when recording externally. So there are always trade-offs. So I implore you to actually do your assignments and really know what you're investing into. So basically, my 2 reasons again for why I will get the EOS R5 over the Xt4 is the fact that Canon has a very reliable auto system, and the fact that Xt4 gives me the satisfaction knowing that I wouldn't need to upgrade my cameras in the next 3 to 5 years, being that it shoots 8K and it shoots 4K 120 frames, which again I do not need, but yeah, it's nice to have. If you like my content, I would like you to subscribe to my channel, and you can of course subscribe to my channel because I make a lot of color grading videos, not really tutorials per se, but if you look at my other videos, which I would drop somewhere year or year, wherever it appears, you can look at them and tell me what you think. And if you feel like you want me to make tutorials about how I achieve these color grades, just drop me a comment, and let's get interactive in the comment section. And of course, I'll make these tutorials really simple. So thank you one more time again for watching my video, and I'm wishing you a very good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and please stay safe.